Now, I'm sure you're familiar with, say, y equals 3. So we can take values of x. If x is minus 2, y equals 3. If x equals 0, y equals 3. If x equals 5, y equals 3. Whatever x is, y is always 3. It forms an infinite set of points, and that makes a straight line, y equals 3. Now, how about y equals x? So we start with values of x. X is the input. So let's say we start with x equals minus 5, then y equals minus 5. X equals minus 3, y equals minus 3. If x equals 0, y equals 0. If x equals 2, y equals 2, etc. Again, you get an infinite set of points. This line is called y equals x. Now, let's try something else. Y equals 2x minus 1. Now, we can choose values of x. Let's make a little table. Values of x going across the top. Let's choose x equals minus 5, x equals 0, x equals 2, and x equals 3. And let's work out values of y for each of those values of x. So let's start with x equals 2. If x equals 2, y equals 4 minus 1, which is 3. If x equals 3, y equals 6, take away 1, that's 5. If x equals 0, y equals minus 1. Now, if x equals minus 5, y equals minus 10, minus 1 is minus 11. So now we can plot each of those points on the graph. And then join them up, and we get a straight line, which we must label y equals 2x minus 1. Now let's try this one. Y equals 6 minus x. So again, we'll plot a few points. We'll start with a table of values. We start with values of x, and we're going to work out values of y. So let's choose x equals minus 4, x equals 0, x equals 2, and x equals 6. Let's see what we get. So let's start with, first of all, x equals 2. Y equals 6 minus 2, that's 4. How about x equals 6? Y equals 6 minus 6 is 0. If x is 0, y equals 6 minus 0 is 6. Now let's try x equals minus 4. So y is going to be 6 minus minus 4, which is 10. So again, we can plot each of those points on the graph, and they should form a straight line. Draw a straight line through all those points, and that is the line y equals 6 minus x. Now let's draw two straight lines on the same graph. First, y equals a half x minus 3. So we're going to make a table of values. We're going to choose values of x and work out values of y. Now it's a good idea to have even values of x because we're dividing by 2. So let's try minus 4, 0, and let's say 6. So if x equals 6, y equals 3 minus 3, which is 0. If x equals 0, y equals 0 minus 3, that's minus 3. And if x is minus 4, now we haven't gone above 0 here, so I'm going to go a little bit higher. Let's go up to 8. So if x equals 8, y equals 4 minus 3, which is 1. So we can plot those points on the graph and draw the straight line y equals a half x minus 3. Now let's try the second one on the same graph. So we're going to need another table of values. Y equals 7 minus x. So let's start with minus 3, 0, and 5. So 7 minus minus 3 is 10. 7 minus 0 is 7. 7 minus 5 is 2. Let's go a little bit further. Let's go up to 9. So y equals 7 minus 9 is minus 2. So then you can plot those points on the graph and join them up with a nice straight line. Make sure you go exactly through the points and label it. Y equals 7 minus x. Now you could work out the point of intersection. Can you see where they meet on that graph? That's the point of intersection. And you could work out things like the area of a triangle between those two lines and, let's say, the y-axis. Right, there's lots of questions for you to try on the worksheet, so download the worksheet and give it a go.